Okay. So this one involves Project 2025, but not totally, but it does. Right. Towards the end of Donald Trump's first term, he wanted to institute this thing called Schedule F, which was an executive order that would allow Trump to convert like 50,000 job positions within the executive branch, remove their protections from federal unions and the requirements that you got to go through in order to fire these 50,000 people. And instead of these 50,000 people being, protected civil servants, they would become political appointees. Meaning Trump would be able to fire 50,000 people across the executive branch and replace them with his handpicked people. So think, him hiring 50,000 Charlie Kirks or 50,000 Sean Hannitys and putting them all across the executive branch of the federal government. So he signed an executive order towards the end of his first term saying that he has the power to do this. And then he just ran out of time. He didn't have time to do it. And Joe Biden came in and, revoked that executive order. But it's in line with a quote from J.D. Vance in 2021, fire every single mid-level bureaucrat, every civil servant in the administrative state, and replace them with our people. And so Donald Trump has signed a new executive order reinstating this Schedule F plan. He signed that a week ago on April 18th. He hyped the new executive order on True Social. If these government workers refuse to advance the policy interests of the president or are engaging in corrupt behavior, and it's like, if you don't agree with him, that means you're corrupt. So they should no longer have a job. And so Schedule F proposal was kept alive in Republican policy circles, notably by the Heritage Foundation's influential Project 2025 document. So it's like Trump did this executive order, the Heritage Foundation adopted that and made it part of Project 2025. And it's now called Restoring Accountability to Policy Influencing Positions Within the Federal Workforce. Okay. There, if you get to make up whatever title you want to for executive orders. Restoring accountability to policy influencing positions within the federal workforce doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. It doesn't have like a beat to it. There's no hook. It's just like nothing grabs you. So whatever. Civil servants swear an oath to the Constitution and are required to apply the laws of the United States as enacted by Congress. Their salaries are paid by U.S. taxpayers. They are not political employees. These part of their job involves speaking truth to power, even when the facts they convey may be inconvenient and the policy choice is difficult. This new order's priority on personal fealty is clear in its grant of power to federal agencies to fire an employee for subversion of presidential directives. I'm sure that's going to work out great. Yeah, Jesus, man. But, so currently now it's like, if you want to get rid of a federal employee, there's a whole process that you got to go through. I believe they can only be fired for cause. And it's a very laborious process. And, the process of firing a federal worker when you do it legally, as long as they're not probationary, can take over a year. And so what we've just seen with Doge is we've seen Elon Musk either get, tens of thousands of federal employees to agree to his bullshit early retirement program, or he just fired everybody in the executive branch who was a probationary employee, meaning they were within like their first 2 years of that job. You can fire them without cause. And so Elon Musk pretty much got rid of all of those people. But right now there are 4,000 positions in the federal government that are subject to political appointment, and roughly 1,300 of those require Senate confirmation. And Trump wants to make that number 50,000 and have none of them be subject to Senate confirmation. And it's at a time when, you know, Donald Trump is using the machinery of government to settle scores and go after political rivals. Dozens of senior civil servants have resigned under duress or have been demoted in apparent retaliation for previous work they did. And a number of officials at independent agencies and boards who could be terminated only for cause now have been fired because of their political affiliation. And a lot of that had to do with Elon Musk and Doge. And a few federal workers from Trump's first administration, Donald Trump has now ordered the Justice Department to investigate them, and even said that one of them is guilty of treason. So there's that. Yeah. And obviously, you know, people who chew their food with their mouths closed think that this is a really bad idea. And it's also not supported by the public in overwhelming numbers. The American public likes the idea of pursuing government efficiency in the abstract, but according to polls, strongly opposes the moves that Trump administration is now making. A recent survey from the Partnership for Public Service found largely positive attitudes towards civil servants. 95% of respondents to the poll thought that civil servants should be hired and promoted on merit rather than according to political beliefs. 90% said civil servants should serve the people more than any president. And only 25% agreed that a president should be able to fire civil servants for any reason, while 72% disagreed with that. The public does not like what Musk and Doge are actually doing and believe that the cuts go too far and have put sensitive data at work. So should Trump's remodeled Schedule F survive the court challenges it faces, it may suffer from guilt by association with the deeply unpopular Elon Musk and Doge. More directly, any restructuring of public employment will be judged not by its coherent with conservative theories of the unitary executive or the number of civil servants replaced by political loyalists, but by whether these changes ultimately deliver more effective government for the American people. Elon Musk has already broken Social Security. It's not working. He took away people's ability to confirm their identity online. He said you have to come into a Social Security office and do that in person. And then he closed 90% of the Social Security offices throughout the United States and fired all of the people who work there. And now you can't even get through to someone on the phone. And so sooner or later, that's going to break down and people are going to start missing checks. And I think when that happens, we're going to be in for a whole new ballgame. I mean, old people not receiving their Social Security checks. Come on, man. People want government to work efficiently. They don't want it to be broken such that nobody can actually collect on the benefits that the government for 50 years has been telling them they're entitled to. This is going to go badly. Right as we're walking into a recession, right when Donald Trump, a self-inflicted recession. I hope it's only as bad as a normal recession. I think it's going to end up being dramatically worse. I think what's coming is going to be worse than the 2008 financial crisis. And, you know, that's when Trump and Musk are making Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the VA unusable for the people who are entitled to those benefits. And on top of that, while we're heading into what's going to be a devastating financial crisis, that's when Donald Trump said, oh, let's bring back student loan payments and take all of that money out of the economy as well. We are being held hostage by people with room temperature IQs. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Hawk. If you enjoyed the video, please click like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. It's free. Have a great week, everybody. See you guys soon.